Okay. So where are we? I believe we left off at me becoming a hoe. He called me those names before in the beginning of our relationship, and I guess it just fully manifested because I really became a hoe. No, I'm just kidding. I did. So we're in year 2016 now, I believe. It's just so much. Okay, so 2016, I was in training to become a flight attendant. I had to come back home. I was put on bed rest because of my pregnancy. My pregnancy was now considered at risk. So when I came back home to get clearance from a doctor, I went ahead and saw my OBGYN since I was in town, and she immediately put me on bed rest. So no going back to training and becoming a flight attendant, and that really broke me. So I was put on bed rest, and I went back home and was in the bed. Now, when I got home, mind you, I haven't really been home that much. I spent a lot of time with my mom, and then I was in Texas. So I was gone for weeks. My son was either with me at my mom's, or while I was in training, my son was with my mom the majority of the time. So anywho, I got back home, and I was on bed rest. So I went to my home in my bed and was in the bed on bed rest. And I believe this was around the end of March. And I remember like looking in the bed and seeing like white crust. And I just kind of thought like it was something from him. And I should have washed the sheets and stuff, but I didn't. Like, this is my bed. One night, he was sleeping on the couch because, like I said, I had the bed. He was sleeping on the couch in the living room, and when I went out to go get something, noticed he was asleep. His phone was laying next to him, and it was open. So, of course, I took it, and I looked through his phone because, mind you, he was acting really weird. Yes, we were talking about divorce and stuff, but he was just always gone, never really wanting to take care of our child. Like, he was just always gone, like, living his best life. So, anywho, I'm emotional, obviously, because I'm pregnant. I took his phone, and I went through his phone. Well, I didn't go through it because the message was already up. And I noticed a message from another girl, and it was clear that they were in a relationship. It was clear that they had been having sex. It was clear that she was in my house, and there were pictures, there were nudes, there were videos, there was all types of stuff. Like, they were in a full-fledged relationship. And I confronted him about it. And I took her number before I gave him back his phone so I can communicate with her to get to the bottom of everything. And it was a mess because I was like so blindsided. I don't know what I was thinking. Like, I don't know why I didn't think he would be in another relationship because we weren't divorced yet. And I was literally pregnant with what I believe to be, in my heart, his child. He knew I cheated on him, and I think he was just like, it's time for him to move on, and he was ready to be in another relationship. So anywho, I spoke with the girl, and I'm going to share with you a little bit of our text messages because I was like, girl, like, what are you doing? Like, do you know who this man is? And I told her about the abuse, and she was just kind of like, I took it as like her brushing it off. And then I told her about him sleeping with men, and that's when she was like, girl, what? He didn't tell her, obviously. So I'm going to show you some of the text messages, but I want you to also see how I want you to see his narcissistic behaviors, because she says how he was adamant and made it a point for her to believe what a monster I was, and that I was the reason for the divorce. He's still doing that to this day. I'm the monster. I'm the reason for the divorce. I broke him. I tore him apart. Granted, yes, I should not have cheated on him, but I was hurt. I was done. And I think most of you guys can agree that it was coming. I wasn't strong enough to leave the marriage at that time, to be 100% transparent with you. And so my only out was to cheat. And in doing so, I felt like that would be solidifying that we were done. And that was the only thing that I had strength to do to get out. So let's look at some of these text messages. Good girls on the left, obviously. Didn't you just get back from Texas regularly? I know based off of what he's told me, I may not know everything, but I know enough, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, I'm guessing he told you that I cheated on him. And she was like, yeah, you don't have the right to. So here, because he didn't tell anything about what he did, I told her about the physical and verbal abuse, and all of the information on that. And you see, she kind of like was sipping her tea. But then I told her about the men. And then that's when she's like, wait, hold on. So we kind of talked a little bit about that, and she confronted him about it. Here, I think this is when she realized that it was true, because she asked him about it and he didn't answer. So she came over. She ended up coming over, and all three of us kind of met. He was really embarrassed, but